took me 30 odd years to get this fur coat, but it was well worth waiting for.
Posh.
Yes, it is posh. Have you ever heard the expression? You might hear it. All fur coat, no knickers. This is not the case with me. I've got everything. I'm a great cinema goer. You know, nice to think, oh, someday I might have a beautiful fur coat like that. I think you daydreamed a lot when you went. I know I did, when I used to go and see all these lovely stars. I imagined how I would look in that.
A well-fitted coat in grey India lamb. This handsome, tight-curled fur is one of the hardest wearing of the lamb family.
Not so long ago, almost every woman dreamt of owning a fur coat.
A swagger coat of South American skunk, which is a far cry from the skunk stole of Grandmama's day.
Blame it on the movies. In the 50s, actresses like Sandra Dawn, star of The Devil Doll and Eyes That Kill, were swathed in the stuff. Has anybody ever reproached you for wearing a fur?
No, because I don't wear that many outside. I had a lovely coat that I had with a big lynx collar on, and I actually took it off when I threw the collar away, and it was just then white wool. So, but I do worry about it, I have to tell you. Yes, I do worry, because I am for wildlife. But on the other hand, I'm also for glamour. I guess I was brought up with it. It never leaves you.
A natural red fox coatee of great beauty, the skins of which have come all the way from the windy steppes of Kamchatka.
Desires and fashions change. At the end of last year, the anti-fur group Lynx held a rally in Trafalgar Square. Hundreds of unwanted furs were consigned to butcher's barrels. Eventually, they will be burned. Lynx has the power of persuasion. The new Lynx poster has a picture of a lady in a fur coat.
Yes, I find it very...
With just rich bitch.
Yes.
Poor bitch.
Yes. I find a little vulgar in a way. I mean, I don't think you have to be vulgar about a slogan of any kind. I didn't like that. I thought it was not very nice.
Who thought to bring out your dead?
Well, in fact, our supporters did and the public did, because all we were doing with the tour and with today's event was responding to a demand that we detected from the public who'd got fur coats. They'd inherited them or they'd bought them without realising the cruelty that went into them. And when they found out, they were horrified and embarrassed, and they certainly didn't want to wear them anymore, and they didn't know what to do with them, so they asked us to take them off their hands.
Has fur meant a lot to you?
Yes, it keeps me warm. Much more than a man does.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You guys come and go. The fur is always there.
That's sad.
Isn't it?
57.50, 47.50.
In the United Kingdom, sales of fur goods by the bigger companies fell from £91 million in 1980 to just £27 million in 1988.
46.50.
Last week, on St. Valentine's Day, Harrods announced the closure of its fur department. But although shops are closing all the time, and there are ripples of dissent in America and Scandinavia, exports are holding up. Only here are so many women either anti-fur or frightened to wear it in case of verbal or physical abuse. And this is one of the main causes. The slogan for David Bailey's commercial is, "It takes up to 40 dumb animals to make a fur coat, but only one to wear it." It was propaganda of the highest quality, a potent concoction of gloss, glamour and gore.
I need these at least another inch longer, so 43.
Most farriers in Britain today are reluctant to show their faces, but the owners of this Regent's Park workshop and salon decided to come out. Customers were invited to a party and a political broadcast.
20 years ago, my profession was considered perfectly respectable by most people. In fact, it was the third biggest earner of foreign currency in the United Kingdom. Now, because of the intimidation carried out by a small group of people, some past customers are frightened to wear fur. It should be clearly understood that all the furs we use are ranched for that purpose, not culled indiscriminately from wildlife stock. We do feel it is vital for the survival of the fur trade to ensure that there is no importation of endangered species. I think morality standards are down to individuals. There must be freedom of choice.
In the early days, it was suggested that we might agree to compromise with the fur industry by giving up the campaign if they agreed to ban the use of wild furs. But there's just no way we could agree to that, because fur breeding is, in our book, every bit as bad as fur trapping. When you look at the conditions in these wretched fur factory units that these animals have to suffer, it breaks your heart, and there's simply no way we could ever reach that point of compromise, I'm afraid.
We've heard that Harrods is actively considering withdrawing from the fur trade. They just need some more persuasion, some more letters, some more postcards. But one thing that's been made clear, if there are any kind of extreme actions, this is going to make them rethink their decision, because they won't give in to terrorism. So I'd actually would like to make an appeal in line with Lynx policy for everyone to cease any extreme actions, because it's just going to hold back the day when we can have a fur-free Britain. And if Harrods closed down its furs department, that's the most prestigious shop.
Are you regarded as being quite brave to even speak about it?
Yes, because I've been advised not to. My friends told me, why do you put yourself in a position to be abused or maybe have a bomb thrown into your shop? Well, I don't think it will happen, because I think people will come to their senses. I hope even the anti-fur brigade, most of them are human, and will realize that this is not a way to go about it.
Thank you very much. Lovely. Lovely.
Pleasure.
Why are you prepared to speak out?
Because I feel very strongly about it, because I resent it to be classed as that our business is immoral. I resent it that we should suddenly feel attacked, and that we were always respectable and classed as respectable, and I love animals, and I think the whole propaganda against furs is wrong.
People in Britain are often accused of caring more about animals than children. Certainly, the anti-fur lobby has had little effect in other countries.
I don't like the idea that the animals are being killed, slaughtered, so some rich bitch can wear fur.
Ira Pinto, born in Brazil, has homes in Knightsbridge and California. She loves fur and has collected about £45,000 worth of it.
This is a natural Canadian French mink. I don't know how many skins or how many animals would take it to do this particular one. But it's beautiful, it's all natural, and it's perfect skin. The silver fox, that's a Yves Saint Laurent. And again, it's the gray silver fox, which is the one that most women would like to have or favor. It's supposed to be the best of a fox. And the last one, it's my favorite somehow. It's probably a little bit of emotional. The lynx, that's the bad one to be shown now, with the lynx being given the name to be the anti-fur group. I was separated and I was having, of course, marital problems, and when I bought my fur, the first night I worn it, everybody was telling me how wonderful I look when I really knew how horrible I felt. But if they thought that was looking good, that was the image that day that I wanted to present, so nobody would be feeling sorry for me.
Was your anti-fur people would said, what about the poor lynx?
Well, I would say, how about the poor sheep or the cow and the chickens that you eat too, you know? I mean, they all provide something to humans. And we can't look at that way, otherwise you won't survive in life. And if those poor little things provided me with that, I'm very grateful to them.
What would you have done if you'd been poor?
I probably had been very miserable. Maybe I would have smoked some dope or done some drugs or maybe bought some cheap booze, you know. Whatever fulfills your pain. And fortunately, I was able to buy this beautiful coat.
I give you 6 to 1, you don't make it before Newcastle.
You're on. Before Bradford.
I just think we had the best of the era. It's a glamour time that will never come back. Being under contract, you had to do what they said, go to premieres, do this. And you'd say, well, you know, what do we wear? They say, oh, don't worry about that, darling. Just come into the office, you know. There were all the clothes and furs. I've never seen such furs in my life, all over the place. And some were sort of pink and blue. They dyed things. And minks, I remember picking up mink because I saw it in a Hollywood film once. And I dragged it along and put it over my shoulder. And that was real Hollywood glamour in London.
Did any men ever try to woo you with furs?
Oh, I've been wooed with furs, darling, many times and accepted. I've had furs that I've turned down. You know, the stakes were a bit too high for me. You know, I remember Marlene Dietrich, and she said to me once, darling, if you're going to be a tart, be a good tart. But if you're going to be glamorous, always wear white fox.
White fox has never been very common among the folk who worked in shipbuilding and coal mining in Newcastle upon Tyne.
Come on now, lasses.
But a girl can dream.
Come on now.
One who did now lives in sheltered accommodation near the factory where she made rope.
Help me believe in all that I am and all I could be. Show me the stairway that I have to climb.
Mary Henry is 78. She's been widowed for 20 years. Her husband Jimmy spent a lifetime down the coal mines.
When first I saw the love light in your eye, I dreamt the world held naught but joy for me.
He was on the dole. So we're married on the dole, which thousands of people did in them days. Hundreds of lasses married fellas on the dole. But we always thought, well, things will get better. And Jim used to say, Mary, you'll have everything I can give you. If I could give you the stars, I would give you the stars. But I cannot give you the stars. But someday you'll have a nice home. He says, you don't care for a great deal of jewellery. He says, I know you're not a person like that, but he says, someday I'll buy a nice fur coat. Then you forget these things because you want a new bedroom suite, you want a new dining room suite, so fur coat is out of your mind, isn't it, really? But then the time came, I did get the fur coat.
How did that happen?
Well, there's a little shop right near the fish shop in the car park called Rowers. They always have nice things in the window, very exclusive, and they were putting fur coats in. And he says, come on, we'll go in. Went in. And to this day, I'm convinced that those assistants thought it was towards those coming in out the cold. I'm convinced of it. And just the assistant said, you know what would I like? And my husband says, I'd like to see a fur coat for my wife. And then he put this wash on. And I said, oh, Jimmy, I love this. This is beautiful. He says, well, that's yours. And the assistants changed altogether. It was this madam. And, oh, yes, I would love that. That's the kind of coat I would like if I bought a fur coat. I mean, I'd never dreamt I would ever have anything like that in my life.
What did it mean to you?
Well, one thing, it meant it kept us warm. That's one thing it did mean. And it was dressy. I mean, I didn't feel as if I had been lifted up socially on society, so to say. I didn't have that, well, it's not an uplifting socially. I didn't feel like that. But I really felt as if, well, I've achieved something. Or we've achieved something. Jimmy and I've got the fur coat. And I think there must be hundreds and hundreds of women feel the same.
You grabbed whatever you could. You weren't anyone unless you went to a premiere with a fur on. Nobody at all.
What about today?
Well, I wouldn't ever wear a seal. I don't think minks are that important. I mean, they are, somebody's going to say wild, but they're bred for this. But wildlife, yes. I admire Brigitte Bardot for doing what she does for the seals and things. I had a wonderful coat with a big seal collar. And about 5 years ago, I gave it to Oxfam, and I thought, well, you know, somebody might keep them warm through the winter. I couldn't wear it again. I wouldn't be seen dead in one of them. That poor thing was seen dead on me.
But do you actually feel happy to wear mink for anything?
Yes, why not? Why not? It's lovely, it's cuddly. Nothing feels more glamorous than when you're going out and you sling something over you and it's fox, or why not? I've got it, you know, my husband paid for it. I'll never throw this away because it's part of my youth.
I fear that there will always be a sector of society that would continue to wear their fur coats and knowing about the cruelty that's gone into them. And then that's a problem we have to tackle through legislation, appealing to governments to change laws and ban the imports and even the sale of fur coats.
It's cuddly. You can use it too because you can throw it around, particularly mink, I think, because mink is to me the most glamorous fur, and it is the most durable, the most practical one to have, and because you can wear it anywhere at any time, and of course except in summer months. I'm just an old-fashioned girl. I'm the sweet and simple kind. I want an old-fashioned house with an old-fashioned fence and an old-fashioned millionaire.
Do you remember your first mink?
Yes, very much so. One of my boyfriends gave me a mink stole. It was the first piece of fur of any kind I think I've had. And he surprised me because he took me shopping and left me in a boutique, and he came back with this big box. And the papers, just like you see in the movies, you know, they're tearing the paper out of the box, and out comes this mink stole. And to me, it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life. When someone gives you a piece of fur to keep you warm, you think they really care about you.
You didn't think of not accepting it?
Of course not. I wish it would happen more often. Doesn't happen as much today, I think, as it did in the olden days, because maybe men were much more romantic.
This is a poem that Jim wrote for me. I think, if I'm right, he wrote this when he was in France, at the beginning of the war. Oft I think in deep depression, for the lack of words to give expression, this love I have within my breast, for the lass that I love best. O Mary lass, my love for thee, if you could look inside and see the pain that racks my aching heart, the agony of love for you, sweetheart. That was it.
Does that make you feel good or
It makes
sad?
me feel a bit emotional, I'll be truthful. It makes me feel a bit emotional, but he did think about me like that. And I thought about him, but I was no poet. I discovered that when he died. I was clearing the bottom drawer out, and I found that.
What means the most, the poem or the musquash?
The poem. Because you can buy a coat. I could maybe buy a coat any day myself, but I never could get them words. I couldn't say them words, but he wrote them for me. That was something, I mean, that animal was killed for anybody. Those animals were killed. Anybody was going to buy that fur coat, but that was mine. That was for me. So I think if I'm truthful, which I always am, I think the poem is what touches me more. I can talk about the musquash, and I'm all right, but when I talk about the poem, I get a bit emotional. Do you understand that?
Surbiton, home of author Wendy Perriam, a fur-mad woman with a fertile imagination.
I slip off my long wolfskin coat, lay it on the couch, silky fur side up. I'm naked underneath. It all started with my lions. I had a lion like this one when I was about 2 or 3. I hated dolls, and I always liked sort of wild beasts. And the original of this lion, poor thing, he rotted to pieces. I cried so many tears onto his ears at my boarding school that he just disintegrated. But I had these lions later on to replace them, and I have a feeling that I got into sort of fur through these lions. Feel the fur wooing my bare skin, lie back on it, tickling and caressing. I close my eyes, imagine him beside me. The wolf has come alive. I think that fur is very erotic. I think in wearing it, you somehow feel animal. And I think there's something about getting over your inhibitions or something when you put on a fur coat. And my own husband likes furs. He likes the idea of even women being covered in fur. He's a bit odd. But then he prefers animals to people. This is a musquash, which is really a rat. I mean, it all sounds frightfully good. Musquash is really a musk rat, which should probably be exterminated. This helps to eliminate the guilt, you see. The thing about fur is that you're treated very differently. I've been pretty poor and pretty rich in my life. And I remember being in a Rolls Royce in this fur, and people being sort of respectful and deferential. And I also remember sitting in a dole office as a single parent in shabby old jeans and an anorak, and people being bullying and patronising, and yet I'm the same person. And in a way it makes me angry, because, I don't think we should be judged, but there's no doubt about it. I think people treat you differently according to what you're wearing.
Do you think that still stands today with all the anti-fur campaign?
No, I think there's totally changed, and I think now people who wear furs are treated as stupid, cruel, callous, and I myself have been quite distressed to read all about it. I now feel in a terrible dilemma. I'm sort of horrified, and yet I'm not one of those people that went and sort of threw them in the fire.
All you've got to do is remove your fur and throw it on the pile, and you'd be most welcome.
That would be a terrible shame, wouldn't it?
Well, I don't...
Well, I think
But it's
I think
about
you'd be a
time-
very popular guy. I mean, you look so lonely over here on your own.
Well,
There's
perhaps
so
I
many
like being a
people
lonely
here.
person. Oh, no, I've been a lonely person a long time. I can be lonely a bit.
I think it's a lonely industry.
Yeah. Down to public pressure. Take it off and put it on the pile.
You can have one of our lynx jackets. We'll swap it for a lynx jacket.
What, a real lynx jacket? Yes.
A lynx animal welfare jacket. Made of non-fur.
Yes, what, polluting fibres, obviously. I mean, we kill
not
by...
at all, not at all.
We,
But anyway,
we pretend.
you've had your chance. We've made an invitation to you.
Yeah, well, no, I'm not
Up to
allowed
you.
in the square, you see. That's the problem
You
with
can
me.
take, if you take your
Oh,
coat
no,
off,
no.
you're allowed
Well,
in
I
the
should be very
square.
cold if I do, won't I?
We'll
I'll
give
be
you a
very
little-
cold.
Guitarist, vocal and guitar and piano.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Mark. Mark
How do you do,
Lover.
Mark?
So what's this you've got?
This is Somali leopard, 7 skins of this.
Seven
Sorry to
skins
say,
of
yes.
it. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't bear thinking about how they were
No, I've had
obtained.
it for about 40 years.
Really?
Before one knew about these things. As we're outside Canada House, I should say that I've sold my Hudson's Bay shares in the new company.
Excellent. Did you manage to persuade anybody else where you live to hand them in?
Oh yes, I had a nice big pile of them given to me the other day by all my friends. Some very expensive coats.
Reluctantly?
Not at all, no, no.
They
No,
all
they
handed
said good
them
luck to the animals if it's helping you. No, not reluctantly. I think the people of Chobham, Surrey were very good about it.
This is the Chinese weasel, another pest. You notice I go in for pests. This would probably be exterminated if it weren't for the fur trade. So you could ask the question, would a Chinese weasel prefer to have a short life than no life at all? It's difficult to answer. Another thing about cruelty is that animals are very cruel themselves. I mean, leopards tear deer and rabbits to pieces and eat almost anything they can get their hands on or get their claws on. And mink eat newts and frogs. And you could say, what about the rights of frogs? And think how many frogs one saved by not having, or by having a mink coat. A lot of frogs are saved for every mink coat that's made.
Getting very convoluted for me.
I think it's rather a good point.
I saw a woman the other day when I was shopping in the West End, in Liberties, and she was wearing this, I suppose it was a sable coat, I'm not quite sure. And I thought, I wonder if that's real. I hope it isn't. And I looked at the woman, she looked very intelligent, and I thought, well, she can't be, because she wouldn't be wearing that coat if she had really thought about it. I categorically stated to the producers of Howard's Way, which I'm going to be very much a part of in the next series and the series after, certain things that I really won't have anything to do with, and that is one of them. I mean, wearing furs is certainly one of them, because they're absolutely defenceless.
A Lynx survey claims that 7 out of 10 women in Britain wouldn't wear fur, and now many of the rich and famous reckon it's bad for their image.
And naturally one thinks about it. But then I have to take the other side of the picture as well. I have to look at it from both sides of the subject. And what I think is fair by both of us, the anti-fur people and those of us who happen to like fur and the fur business in general.
And then we have the Russian sables, back to the old running rounds, and that works out around about 35,000. That's from the...
Well, I don't think I could persuade my husband to do.
One of Michael Hockley's customers is collecting her furs from cold storage. 1 mink, 1 raccoon. And what about a new coat, madam?
The rose beavers, pale rose colours.
Well, you see, I think that looks like a nylon fur coat. I don't see the...
Well, it's for the uninformed eye, it looks like a nylon fur coat.
So that's for these people who are afraid of wearing real fur but don't want to wear...
Not particularly. Not particularly. It's understated. It's...
Yeah, I
the
agree.
point
I mean,
of the pudding
it doesn't
is
feel
that
like...
most of the raccoons are really... It's things like raccoon jacket, like your jacket, are not particularly fashionable. At the moment, the big thing is the flatter furs, the chicer furs.
It's not what you told me when I bought it. It would last forever, you
That was
said.
8 years. I mean, God almighty, how long do you want these things to last? You said you walked through the front of the shop, and the front of the shop wasn't more the furs on the back, but as far as I'm concerned, the sheepskins, the suedes and leathers, it's all fur. Once the hair comes off a fur coat, it becomes a leather coat or a suede coat. It's exactly the same type of thing.
There are so many good arguments that you can make for fur coats. I mean,
Absolutely.
you're letting, the lynx and the anti-fur people get it all their own way, because they're the ones who are visible and who are making most noise, and people like you, I think, you know, should be presenting the other case.
Well,
the
we
other
do
side
present
of the
it.
case.
We do try to present the other side of the case, but obviously they have much more money than we do. They have
Well, there's certainly more reciprocal.
lots of old ladies up and down the country, and people sending them thousands and thousands of pounds a year.
It should be a rational presentation of the argument, and I don't think the furriers are presenting
You're
the argument
absolutely
at all.
100% right, but the trouble is the funds, we just haven't got the money. That's the problem. There may be, when I first came into the business, which is what, getting on now for 25 years ago, that makes it sound terribly ancient, but there were probably 1,000 furriers in this country. I think we're probably down now to maybe 30 or 40.
Well, my son has been greatly influenced by all the propaganda, I must say, and is very anti-fur, but it's certainly not going to put me off. And I shall enjoy wearing mine, as you know.
But have you had anybody actually walk up to you in the street and say, "You rotten cow, why are you wearing
no,
that
that
dead
I
animal?"
haven't had, and I must say, if that would happen, I would
me-
find it very upsetting.
Well, that's not argument, that's pure
Well, exactly,
intimidation, and
yes.
that's not right.
That's the end
It's a
justifying the
personal
means, isn't
choice.
it?
This is
Yes.
why we're in a democratic country.
Yeah.
I don't think that a group of people should tell us what and how we should live our lives, as long as we are not going out and hitting something over the head for the sake of greed. The investment in a fur is a very practical and a logical thing to do.
Has it taken any glamour out of it?
Certainly takes glamour out of it, particularly in the entertainment world, or those of us who can afford a piece of fur. And I've had the argument with people who say, because we have this argument with the anti-meat people and things. I said, well, you're wearing leather shoes. I said, no, I knew you were going to get into that, Eartha. My shoes are plastic. I don't think I've ever met a person who wears plastic shoes that didn't have athlete's feet.
Marilyn Cole was once a bunny and a Playboy magazine pin-up. She was born in a 2-up, 2-down with no bathroom and worked at the co-op. Now she's married to millionaire Victor Lands and lives in Belgravia.
It was my ambition to have a mink coat and a squirrel coat and a sable coat.
Yeah.
Indeed, I did achieve this. I used to wear furs, but now, Melody, I'm not going to anymore, probably because of your influence.
Really?
Melody MacDonald Wilson and Marilyn Cole Lowndes are bosom buddies from Clubland. Melody is dedicated to animal rights and the anti-fur campaign.
By the way, which royals wear furs these days?
Well, I think some of the older generation.
Yeah,
still, but not
probably
as much as they used to.
Maybe the Queen Mum and the Queen.
Yeah.
Princess Diana
Yeah.
doesn't, does she?
No, she doesn't at all. No way.
I mean, it was most women's ambition to have a mink. Men enjoyed having the woman on their arms, showing their wealth or success. Here, I've bought my old lady a mink coat. I know that's changed, thankfully.
Yes, quite.
And what a relief it must be for these men.
For their bank balances, their pockets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Victor would be delighted at my giving up wearing furs, as would many men be, I'm sure.
Less of a hole in his pocket.
Big hole.
Yes, I suppose so. Yes, all the men will no doubt sign the fur pledge. No
Quickly.
doubt. Yes.
En masse, I should think.
Yeah.
Took me 14 years to get that coat out of my old man.
I suspect it would have. Yes. Own Victor.
Long time invested in that. I mean, I won't burn anything. I didn't burn my bra, I'm not burning my lynx. And to be honest, it's sort of, there's a ring about it of even, I mean, past regimes like Nazis and communists burning literature and plays that they didn't want us to see.
Yes, it's
and
a bit extreme, possibly.
For me, it's too
For
extreme.
you, bit extreme.
Yeah, so I'm not going to put my mink on the bonfire.
But you're certainly not going to wear it out.
Not going to wear it.
So
So there,
step in the right direction.
That's right, but then we have to think, what should we do with them? Can we sell them at auction?
Well, not now, I don't
Not
think.
now.
I mean, sort of Bonhams and Phillips have stopped their fur sales, I believe,
No, so
with a bit of pressure from
what
certain
can
people.
we do, do you think? To turn
Well,
it,
I
you see,
would.
Ideally, I'd like to turn it into money to help
Yes.
somebody.
What, the cause?
Yeah.
A cause or an animal cause?
Or I could send my Valentino mink to Alaska, have an Eskimo wear it. I mean, they still have to wear their furs. Or
True.
find a bag lady to keep her warm.
Although,
I mean,
Although, of course, there are other ways of keeping warm, just as warm, if not warmer, I believe.
Yeah, but in the Arctic.
St. Moritz in the 60s, millionaire Baron Thiessen and his wife, former fashion model Fiona Campbell-Walter, were very much an item. Now they're divorced, and she's waved goodbye to that world. Baroness Thiessen stopped wearing fur 15 years ago after an appeal from the World Wildlife Fund, but she still clings to a leopard.
The Somali, famous, see, the dog thinks it's an animal, quiet. That's the famous and beautiful coat, looking very unlovely there, but I was vastly pregnant, and it was the only coat that was large enough to go over everything.
Was that terribly expensive?
Very expensive, mainly because it's one of the rarest, I think it was the rarest leopard. It comes from Somali, and it was made by Christian Dior, so it was probably 3 times as much as it should have been. He definitely thinks it's an animal. George? In those days, I think it cost something like $22,000, which was a lot.
Why don't you sell it?
Because it is a historical piece now. You know, how many people can actually open a door and take something out to look at their conscience? At any rate, it would be encouraging people to continue wearing fur coats if I put it back on the market, wouldn't it? I think it's much better it stays discreetly in a cupboard to be thought about occasionally and stroked lovingly. It's very seductive fur, I might say. It was my innocence then, you know. I didn't know that it was bad and naughty and wrong and evil to wear fur coats in those days.
Come on. Take back your mink. Take back your poils. What made you think that I was one of those girls I'm dreaming? Take back the gown.
Have you ever just worn a mink coat out and nothing else?
You mean like I am now?
And I want you to join me in a message now to transmit around the world and to the people here from the fur trade so that they're under no illusions about what we stand for and what they're up against. What do we want? A fur-free Britain. When do we want it? Louder!
All through the war and after the war especially, we had these terrible clothes, utility clothes and things like that. And so to be dragged suddenly into this era, glamour, photography, premieres, furs, champagne forever. It was Christmas.
What percentage of customers really are bothered?
90%. They are afraid very often to wear their furs because of propaganda, not because they believe in it, because they really are just afraid.
How about Maggie? Of course, a lot of, well, I've just written to her actually, Mrs. Thatcher. Have you? Well, very politely, just to try and encourage her to lead the fashion away from it.